Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have my last book haul before the holidays. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. You're probably sitting there like, Riley, aren't you moving soon? Aren't you doing a big unhaul right now? Yes. However, most of these books are ones that I purchased before I ever even decided to move. Also, the goal of my unhaul is not to have less books. It's just to make sure I'm not putting in the effort to pack and move things that I don't want. Before we get into the haul, this video is being sponsored by FlexiSpot. They sent me one of their amazing standing desks that I've literally been eyeing up for so long. I've seen a bunch of other YouTubers that I watch getting them, and I have really been wanting a standing desk. The one that I ended up picking out is the EB8B standing desk with the wooden bamboo top and black legs. And this desk is honestly perfect for anyone who spends a lot of time working at their desk, working from home. It's so easy to adjust the height of the desk. This one goes from the lowest setting, which is 28 inches, up to their highest setting, which is 47.6. There's also 4 different height presets that you can select to make it automatically program to your ideal height. There's also 3 USB charging ports, so you can plug in all of your devices. This would also make a great Christmas gift for anyone in your life who spends a lot of time at their desk. And I will have a link to this desk in the description if you want to check it out. And thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. So with that being said, let's get into the haul. I actually have read quite a few of these already. So as we're going through, I will let you know which ones I have read and what I thought of them. First up, we have The Book of the Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran, which I read and I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I talked about this in my video where I read books based on 1-star reviews. And this is a very weird lit fic kind of book about this woman who is a rare book dealer, and she gets wind of this very, very rare and expensive book that some wealthy people are trying to track down and are offering to pay a lot of money for. This book is rumored to contain these sex rituals that if you perform all of the rituals, you are then granted whatever you desire. So this book is about her navigating this underworld of rare book dealings and extremely wealthy people trying to locate this book, while at the same time performing the very rituals that are in the book. It's a very hard book to really classify, but I was obsessed with it. I loved it, and I definitely recommend this if you like this sort of weird lit fic books. The next one I also read in that same video, and that is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is a romance book about this woman who is a ghostwriter for a famous romance author. She also has the ability to see ghosts. I loved this book. I also gave this 5 stars. Such a cute romance. The next 3 are all special editions that I got from the Cover to Cover book box, and they are these editions of Jennifer Hartman's books. You guys know I've quickly fallen in love with Jennifer Hartman this year. So we have my 2 favorites, Still Beating, which I love this cover and I love the foiling on it, so beautiful. Lotus, which I also love. This one has a textured cover. And then The Wrong Heart, which I actually think this is my favorite cover of the 3 of them. And then also the spines of the covers, if you can see, make up a heartbeat, which is so cute. So yeah, very excited to have these special editions of her books. I'm obsessed with her, and I knew right away that I had to purchase these. Next, I have 3 different Christmas books. The first 2 are Christmas romances. We have A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This one is about an adult film star who is hired to star in a Hallmark Christmas movie, and the actor who she's working with in the movie is a former bad boy pop star who she had a big crush on. It sounds like it's gonna be a wild, silly, goofy time, but that's kind of what I love from Christmas romances. And then the other one is Kiss Her Once for Me by Allison Cochran, who wrote The Charm Offensive, which I loved. And this one is fake dating, where this girl and guy fake date, but then she ends up falling in love with his sister, So it's a sapphic romance. And then the other Christmas book that I got is a Christmas horror novella called The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. And I have already read this. It's super, super quick. It's just about these people who all get stranded during this like winter storm on Christmas in this little like roadside diner. And then this alien is hunting them down. It's very gory, so much more gory than I was expecting it to be, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. The writing wasn't my favorite, but it's so short, and I believe it's also on KU, and it was entertaining. Next, we have The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in the Bridgerton series. I have read the first 5 books in the Bridgerton series, and I really like this series, but I don't own any of them, and I found this edition for like $2. So I was like, okay. And I love the cover. Anthony and Kate just look so cute. The next book that I have is a T. Kingfisher book. I feel like it's not one of my book hauls if there isn't a T. Kingfisher book in it. So this time it's The Clockwork Boys, which is the first book in her Clock Tower War series, which I believe is set in the same world as Sword Heart. It's a tale of a murderous band of criminals thrown together in an attempt to unravel the secret of the Clockwork Boys, mechanical soldiers from a neighboring kingdom that promised to ruin the Dowager's city. I feel like I remember in Sword Heart them referencing the Clock Tower War, so I'm excited to read this and see what it's all about. The next one I have is Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk, which I have read and I really loved. I gave this 4 stars. This is a little novella about this woman who has sold her soul to the devil in order to save her brother's life, and her clock is running out. The devil is coming very soon to collect, but instead gives her this one-time offer that if she tracks down and catches this notorious serial killer, they will give them their soul back and let them live the rest of their life with their girlfriend and be happily ever after. I've heard someone describe this as season 5 of Supernatural, which I 100% agree with. It's like if you take season 5 of Supernatural, but put it in like 1940s Chicago, and then also make it super gay. That's what this is. The next one I have is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which you guys know, I've read this multiple times now. It is one of my favorite books of the year, potentially one of my favorites of all time. This is a cozy fantasy about this orc who wants to retire from being a mercenary and open up a coffee shop. It is just so incredibly cute. If you like books with very low stakes, very cozy vibes, and a really amazing cast of characters, I highly recommend this. The next one that I got, I'm kind of like sad about. Okay, I'll just show you what it is. I had pre-ordered this, the Waterstones edition of Wolfsong by TJ Klune, which is stunning, and I'm so happy that I have it. However, when I pre-ordered it, I did not know that there was 2 different editions. One that's just like plain edges, and then the other one had these beautiful sprayed edges, like some of the most stunning sprayed edges I've ever seen in my life. And they were like the same exact price. And I did not know that there was like a difference. I didn't know I was ordering this one. I thought I was getting the sprayed edges one. And then honestly, like I'm gonna say Waterstone's customer service did me a little dirty, because a month before this came out and was shipped, I went in and canceled my order so I could order the other one. And they said that it was confirmed that my order was canceled. I even double checked and like emailed their customer service to again check. And then when it came out, I still got it and was charged for it. And then the sprayed edges one was sold out. So I was like, ugh. Like, I'm just kind of annoyed by that, but it's fine. I'm glad that I have this. I've always wanted to read this book, and I love this cover, so it's fine. I mean, it's fine. I would have preferred the sprayed edges one, and I'm a little bit annoyed that I canceled my order and then still ended up getting this one and being charged for it. The next one I got, oh, this one was a gift from Hannah. I'll link her channel down below, but she sent me, I knew immediately when I opened it that it had to have been from her, because I had heard about this book from her, and that is Legacy Witches by Cass Kay. This is a dark horror book about witches that every time Hannah talks about it, it just sounds so amazing and so up my alley. It says, coming from a long line of murderous witches hasn't exactly been sunshine and rainbows. When she inherits the family's haunted house after her mother dies, she decides flipping the rundown dump is her smartest move, but the ghosts that haunt her have a different plan. When Vianna finds the ghost of her childhood friend Nancy, she's drawn into the mystery surrounding her friend's death. Her meddling attracts the attention of the oldest coven in Salem. She must solve the case of her murdered friend, stay out of the hands of the most powerful coven in Salem, and face the past she so desperately tried to run away from. It just sounds so good. Also, I love this cover. So I was so excited when Hannah sent this to me. I can't wait to read it. The next one is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, which I have also already read, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. The writing of this book was so good. Oh my god, Alexis Henderson can write a book. Ultimately, like, I just really wanted more from it. It's not a very long book, and I wanted it to be longer. I wanted more. It just fell a little bit short for me, but I will read everything that Alexis Henderson publishes. The next one that I have is There Is No Devil by Sophie Lark. Is this the second one or the first one? I think this is the second one in this duet. I already have the other one. This is a duet by Sophie Lark. It's a serial killer romance, and I've been so excited to read it, so I now have both of them, and I believe that the audiobooks also just came out, so I think I might read these for Smutathon at the end of the month, because y'all know I love a serial killer romance, and I love Sophie Lark, so I have very high hopes for this. Next, I have Misery by Stephen King, which I have also read, and I gave this 3 stars. This was my first Stephen King book, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. To be honest, I don't have like that many thoughts about it. I was vlogging this book, but like, I don't think I'm gonna post it because I just really did not have thoughts. It was like head empty, no thoughts. It was fine, 3 stars. I don't have much to say. That happens sometimes. Sometimes I read books and I could literally sit there and talk about them for hours, and then I'll read another book and I'm just like, I have nothing to say. The next book I have is The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. So this is a fantasy historical romance that sounds so cute and cozy. It's about this like sorority of criminals called the Wisteria Society. The main character of this book is a thief. It says she flies around England drinking tea, blackmailing friends, and acquiring treasure by interesting means. It's a pleasant existence until the men show up. Isn't it always? The hero in this book is an assassin who is smitten with her from the moment they meet. That happens to be while he's under direct orders to kill her. This just sounds so good. Also, I've heard that there's a flying house in it. Like, why would I not love this book? The next one I have is Slade House by David Mitchell. So this is a book about Slade House, which is this mysterious place. Keep your eyes peeled for a small black iron door. A stranger will greet you by name and invite you inside. At first you won't want to leave. Later you'll find that you can't. This just sounds so cool. And there's this like cool little map inside that looks like the Clue board game that has like all the different rooms. I don't know, this just sounds cool. The last 5 books that I have here are all fantasy books. I feel like in 2023, I want to try to get back into reading a lot of fantasy, and this year I've kind of been really narrowing down what I specifically like in fantasy, and I think I found a lot of ones with some great potential. So the first one that I have here is The Story of the 100 Promises by Neil Cochran. This is a loose retelling of The Beauty and the Beast that centers queer and trans characters. It's about this trans man who has made a comfortable life for himself among people who love and accept him. 10 years after his exile from home, his sister asks him to reconcile with their ailing father. Determined to resolve his feelings rather than just survive them, he sets off on a quest to find the one person who can heal a half-dead man, the mysterious enchanter who once gave him the magic he needed to become his true self. But so far as anyone knows, no one else has seen the enchanter for a century, and the fairy tales that survive about him give more cause for fear than hope. And it says it's a big-hearted fantasy with queer optimism. It just sounds so good. So I'm very excited for that. Next up, we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one is a dark gothic fantasy about this woman who has this monster that she calls Nightmare trapped in her mind. He is an ancient spirit trapped in her head. He protects her and he keeps her secrets. And then it says that she meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, and she's thrust into a world of shadow and deception as she joins a dangerous quest to cure the world from a dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew and guilty of high treason. Like, what? Oh my god. I don't know if this has romance. I don't know if it's between her and the highwayman, if it's between her and this monster in her mind. Either way, I'm here for it. The next book that I have, oh my god, this sounds so cute. This is Mrs. Percy's Pocket Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons by Quimby Olson. This is about a woman who inherits this dragon egg and she has to figure out how to take care of it. It says that she's thrust out of the role of spinster and general wallflower and into the unprecedented position of spinster and keeper of dragons. England has not seen a dragon since, well, ever, and now Mildred must contend with raising a dragon that should not exist, kindling a romance with a humble vicar. With a humble vicar! Oh my god, I've never read that far in the synopsis. And embarking on an adventure she never thought could be hers for the taking. Yes. The next one I have is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This is a Regency fantasy romance about a young lady with only half a soul. Ever since she was cursed by a fairy, Theodora has had no sense of fear or embarrassment, an unfortunate condition that leaves her prone to accidental scandal. She hopes to be a quiet, sensible wallflower during the London season, but when Elias, the handsome, peculiar, and utterly ill-mannered lord, discovers her condition, she is instead drawn into dangerous fairy affairs. Does that not sound super cute too? The cozy fantasy girlies, we're really just winning. And then the last book that I have here is one that I've heard about for years, and for some reason it just never caught my eye, never interested me, but I feel like it could fit into this category of fantasy that I've just really been loving lately, and that is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. It says, born of a marriage made only as part of a treaty, the youngest son of the emperor has lived his entire life in exile. He knows little of the rituals of the empire. He knows even less about the deadly intrigue that surrounds the government and the court. But when his father and 3 half-brothers suddenly die, he is summoned to take his rightful place on the throne. I don't know, it just sounds really good. I have heard great things about it, so I'm excited to read that too. So those are all of the books that I have in this haul. I probably will have one more book haul before the end of the year, and that's just gonna be whatever I get for Christmas, which I'm not expecting that many things, but I know my family are getting me some books. And I have also bought myself some books as presents to myself. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!